We laugh, we share our thoughts and feelings. We are always looking for a connection to other people. As a photographer, I am always looking to capture that connection and then use it to evoke an emotional response by the viewer. One of the best ways to capture connection is to take pictures of people holding hands. These are examples of staple and wedding photography. It doesn't matter what your race or religion, we all can relate to these images and ponder them when we see them. In every culture, over thousands of years, human beings connect by holding hands. Parental love, romantic love, in celebration and sorrow, we all hold hands. But what if you're trying to make a connection in an emotionally charged environment? What if this is the last time you are with your loved one? This image gets seared into our memory. I've been successful in using compassionate images to lessen the pain associated with such a traumatic event and want to share it with you. I am also a critical care nurse. I have had the great privilege to be a part of many patients' death. To share in that experience has a monumental emotional weight on me. I am forever part of that family's story, and they are now forever a part of mine. In 1969, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross famously wrote On Death and Dying. This work formally outlined the stages of grief that we are all so familiar with. I have found that before someone dies, many people are having shoulda, coulda, woulda statements in front of the dying person. But in essence, what they are is feeling disconnected and regretful for lost time when the person was dying. What if there was a simple way to reestablish that connection that doesn't cost a thing, takes only a second, is simple, beautiful, and timeless? My practice is to take photos of patients and their family members' hands. No medical equipment, nothing distasteful, a close-up shot of two people sharing a moment, but it represents a lifetime of connection. Simple, beautiful, timeless. Historically, post-mortem photographs have been taken since cameras were invented. The reasons were different. Immigrant families sent these images back to their home country, and death and illness were rampant, so people took pictures of dying children just to remember them and their family. This still happens today. Volunteer photographers come to the hospital. Almost all parents treasure these images and find them beneficial as they move through the grief process, but rarely do they ever share them. But viewing and sharing images is now part of our everyday. The impact of photography is huge in our society. Almost everyone has access to a camera. So how do we personally find value in the tidal wave of images that we see? I'll give you a hint. It's the ones that make us feel connected. Photos are certainly the last thing we think about when someone is dying, but one of the first things we reach for after someone has already died. Death and photography, two things that don't seem to go together. But isn't the memory board found at almost all funerals today? So why do we stop taking pictures of a person in their last stage of life? Does it remind us of pain and suffering? Perhaps our own mortality? But our hands are often spared from the ravages of illness, unlike the rest of our body, and a hand you recognize evokes strong emotions. Dementia choked this mother's memory and personality. Rarely did she ever have a kind word to say, especially to her daughter. But one quiet Sunday afternoon, kindness prevailed, and this tender image was captured forever. This daughter wrote a moving tribute to her dying mother after I encouraged her to take a photo. She outlined all the ways her mother's hand held her throughout her life, and now she had the gift of holding her mother's hand when she left this earth. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be professional quality images to have an impact. The practice can also be done when the person isn't actually dying. It's almost even more powerful afterwards. This mother lost her hair 2 days after these pictures were taken and lost her life 3 months later. As an adult child, I now view my parents' relationship so differently. They have the greatest love story I have ever witnessed. And on this day, after my mom's surgery, my dad couldn't wait to be with her, and guess what was the first thing that he did? I challenge you right now to close your eyes and imagine the feeling of your child or your partner or your parent's hand in yours. Can you feel it? Can you see it? What emotions are you feeling? And don't you become instantly connected to them? What if you found this photo almost a year after your father died, like I did? Could there really have been a photo of my father-in-law holding my son's hand on a forgotten roll of film? 11 years later, it still brings back a flood of emotions for me, a priceless image for our family. So if you have a loved one that's going to die, I challenge you to be brave. Take a minute, hold hands, feel the connection, and just snap a picture. It only costs you a moment of your time, and you have just given yourself the gift of permanent connection. You can hold on while letting go.